Dole some credit. He was in favor of force to vote. He's probably still in favor of force to vote. He's in favor of the tactic. He thinks it's an okay tactic. He was in favor of force to vote. And he usually doesn't, engage in dumb, stupid, petty, white trash drama. But for January 25th, 2021, he's going to make an exception.
Meters or feet of AOC here. So, how is this hyperbole when he was working to play out the very thing that he threatened to do? So, glad to see this guy is being charged. But now,
David Dole's talking about there was a man that tried to assassinate AOC at the D.C. riots. Now, the D.C. riots, I think I saw Don Jr. and then Lauren Boebert. You had Senator Hawley. A lot of people was fanning the flames, right? A lot of people were inciting the D.C. riots, America's coup. A lot of people were.
But now I'm going to pull a bit of a bait and switch on you, because I want to discuss something semi-related here, which is the Boogaloo Boys. So Boogaloo Boys is, or Boogaloo is sort of...
So he went ahead and, told you it's a bait and switch. So he's going to say, look at this. AOC almost got killed, and you know why, Jimmy Dore?
This movement that encompasses a number of far-right groups, and now it's been discussed. I don't want to get too deep into. I really try to avoid stupid drama here, but there is somebody.
He generally tries to avoid, stupid drama, but today he's going to be quite pathetic. How pathetic, David Dole? How pathetic? So David Dole's going to be white trash. For today, he's going to be a garbage person. All right, Mr. White Trash, let's hear. He's going to say the Boogaloo Boys are a racist, fascist, terrible right-wing militia group, and fuck them, fuck the Nazis, fuck the Confederates, and fuck any other bastard that's even associated with the goddamn D.C. riots. Which I feel you on that. I feel you on that, David Dole.
That does this work, that platformed a member of this far-right.
Platformed because he came on a show that, just Jimmy Dore just, put a Zoom, talk to the guy on the internet, but that's platformed because he used his platform to, prop the guy up. So therefore he platformed him.
Right, fringe group. And before I get to that, let me just give you a quick overview of what the Boogaloo Boys are. So QAnon followers, the Proud Boys, and the far-right and alt-right groups that converged on Washington.
So I just want to tell you guys who David Dole is. So, he's in favor of force to vote, which, is fantastic. He's, any reasonable person would be in favor of force to vote. Oh, we need a force to vote to get the fuck out of Yemen right now. But anyways, I digress. David Dole, he was crushed by his own crew. He just got in with TYT. Man, David Dole's been doing this rational national shit up in, Toronto or, up with the Eskimos or what the hell is going on? The elk. I guess old David Dole's hanging out with the elk up there. There's elk in Colorado. What the hell does Canada have? Maple leaves? Maple syrup? Hockey? Yeah. So David Dole with all the hockey. What am I saying? He's getting... TYT is his brand new friends, and so he was for force to vote, then he got this, position, and they invited him to talk, and now he's like, shit. David Dole is in between a rock and a hard place, because he's letting the politics, essentially warp his view, just like Kyle Kulinski. Just like Kyle Kulinski. Remember when he used to be revolutionary as fuck? So David Dole...
imagine that they were living out the great fantasy that underlies what many consider to be the Bible of the white nationalism movement. A 1978 dystopian novel, The Turner Diaries by William Luther Pierce, writes Jonathan D. Sarna, a scholar of anti-Semitism at Brandeis University. Quote, the novel depicts the violent overthrow of the government of the United States, nuclear conflagration, race war, and the ultimate extermination of non-whites and undesirable racial elements among the remaining white population, he explains. This widespread and extremely violent conflagration is often called the Boogaloo by its adherents. So the Boogaloo Boys or the Boogaloo movement isn't necessarily a specific group, but a combination of a number of right-wing groups.
Yeah, great explanation. So David Dole's pointing out that the Boogaloo Boys are the Boogaloo. There's two things that the Boogaloo is. I got the Wikipedia page here, but one big thing that the Boogaloos are is this big, violent, this big catastrophic Civil War, Revolutionary War, nuclear weapons, just everything is being dropped, and then finally all the people of color are wiped out, and then the pure white race can take over the world. That's the boogaloo. That's the boogaloo. The other thing that the boogaloo is something that they call left-wing politicians, left-wing political opponents, the ones that are going to take their guns. So those boogaloos. So that's how they adherents use the boogaloo term to mean this big violent uprising against the government, or talking about left-wing political opponents, which that makes it a pejorative. They're saying, look at them boogaloos over there. Them boogaloos are going to take away our guns. So, what the fuck is going on? Fucking boogaloo. I'd rather talk about the goddamn Houthis. Did you know that the Houthis are the, so-called terrorists? So the United States government's called the Houthis a terrorist, so that way we can, give Saudi Arabia all the weapons and fuel and guns and Abrams tanks and F-15s to kill all the Yemeni people, 233,000 people right now. That's how many deaths are on America's hands. America's hands are bloody as fuck. They're bloody as fuck. So the boogaloos. I'd rather talk about the damn Houthis. There's no tacos in Yemen, but the Houthis, they were from the Houthi tribe, the founder. Why are they called the Houthis? Because they're a part of the Houthi tribe. So I'd rather talk about the damn Houthis instead of fucking boogaloos
that are extremely violent, and they've already caused some death and destruction. As it's written here, since 2019, at least 31 people affiliated with the Boogaloo movement have been charged with crimes, including the killings of 2 security and law enforcement officers, a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, incidents related to the Dore...
So the Boogaloos have done some crimes and done some shit. The one guy that Jimmy Dore had talked to seemed like a nice, decent guy. He actually was, engaged in gay sex. I'm not sure if he's a catcher or receiver. So it's not, your typical right-winger. That's for sure, right? Let's see, 8,
of police
19.
Violence, including Oscar Grant and Breonna Taylor, among the movement's martyrs. At the same time, some of the recent pro-Black Lives Matter statements on Boogaloo pages may have been motivated by group administrators' desire to avoid a crackdown. So
David Doel is eventually going to say that the point is, look, Jimmy Dore, he said all that stuff. What's the point? The point is this. Jimmy Dore interviewed a Boogaloo boy, and now look, the D.C. riots just happened. You see? Jimmy Dore instigated the D.C. riots. That seems to be what he's leading to. So David Dole's point, as soon as you interview a right-wing, and then he did it, I think it was afterwards, right? So David Dole's chronology is all wrong. His chronology, the D.C. riots happened first, and then Dore, interviewed that Boogaloo boy. He was at the riots. That's what made him interesting. So he's like, hey, the Boogaloo was actually the guy Magnus or whatever. He was reaching out to the left wing. So he's like actually saying we're allies. We like Antifa. We like the Black Lives Matter. He's opposed to ICE. He's against racism. He's pro-gay rights and transgendered rights. So what's my point? My point is this. David Dole, you're wrong. David Dole is so wrong. That's such a slippery slope. Jimmy Dore, as soon as once you go black, you don't go back, huh? As soon as you try green eggs and ham, that's all you're going to eat is green eggs and ham. As soon as you interview a right-winger, he might be nice and lefty and whatever. His parents could be hippies. Who gives a shit? As soon as you talk to a nice, charismatic right-winger, fuck, it's over. It's over. AOC is going to, get assassinated. That's David Dole's point. If you interview a right-winger on your show, then AOC will get assassinated. What the fuck is going on? David Dole. All these stupid fucks, they keep on they want to say that Jimmy Dore is violent because he said, fuck you to a camera out in California. And yet, real fucking violence, the D.C. riots, they tried to David Dole is basically, I feel like he's just kind of making a mockery of this, AOC about got killed. She about got killed, David Dole. And if you're going to ask me who instigated the D.C. riots, Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump had a lot to do with it. Donald Jr. was at that speech and with the bulletproof glass. you had Senator Hawley. I think Senator Hawley, Lauren Boebert. You had, 14 senators and 100 House reps. You can start with those folks right there. The liar-in-chief, though, for 2 fucking months, Donald Trump just had a big lie that he kept repeating it over and over again, the big lie. And all these dumb fucks, got grifted one last time, right? So he got, Donald had one last grift with the big lie. But if you're asking me who instigated the D.C. riots, America's coup, January 6th, all that chaos with the Viking guy and the breaking and the cop drug and the shot in the neck and the cop, drug and the
crackdown from Facebook moderators, Newhouse said. Other experts say the lip service from some Boogaloo supporters about wanting to...
This whole force of vote, left on left violence wasn't even a tiff. It wasn't a punch, there wasn't a push, nobody stepped on nobody's shoes. It's not even a tiff. It's an argument. We're just talking, motherfuckers. Jesus fucking Christ, grow the fuck up. Shit's all fucked up and shit. We need to be able to say that. And there's a difference between somebody being emotional and somebody saying, fuck you, motherfucker. If they're being emotional, they're just trying to talk to you. If they're saying, fuck you, motherfucker, then you can get, okay, this makes me feel uncomfortable, but, I don't know, the tone police, your tone, it's all wrong, your tone. It's all wrong. Slippery slipping like a motherfucker. So, okay, as soon as you interview yourselves, you talk to a right-winger, basically Jimmy Dore's a boogaloo now. Jimmy Dore is going to join up with the boogaloos. He's going to run around. He got a taste of Nazism, and now he's going to be a full-blown fascist. Oh, fucking shit. Oh, shit. What has Jimmy Dore done? Just one interview. That's all it takes. Just like marijuana. Just toke on it once. It'll turn you into a pothead forever. And now, look, everybody's dead. Now everybody's dead. Look what you did. Look what you did, you little jerk. Joe Biden in Venezuela. Since he's going to go coup d'etat Venezuela, is he going to coup d'etat Colombia and Panama and Bolivia and Argentina and Chile and Nicaragua and El Salvador and Mexico and hell, Canada? Fucking just coup d'etat everybody, including the D.C. Capitol. Fuck it, right? The U.S. government's going to coup d'etat the world, and then people are going to be shocked when David Doel himself, it's a slippery slope, right? All you got to do is interview one right-winger. You're telling me that David Doel never interviewed one single right-winger in his life? My God, Emil Vigilant was just interviewing right-winger after right-winger. That Nomiki Konst goes on Fox News every other day. That's all they do is hang out with right-wing militia, right-wing propagandists, right-wing GOP operative psychos, and basically give away the game. Tell the conservative crowd what these, so-called lefty progressives are thinking. So shit, Nomiki Konst went on Fox News, and now look, now they're trying to assassinate AOC. Yeah, my God, Nomiki Konst went on Fox News. That's all it takes, one single interview. You just talk to a right-winger one time. That's it. That's it. It's basically crack, heroin, and meth all wrapped into one. That's how powerful a right-winger is. I think David Doel is contractually obligated to oppose David Doel. He's with them TYT fuckers now, right? So he was on the right side. He was on the right side.
A multiracial movement should not be taken seriously. The idea that you would dismantle the U.S. government at this stage is to undo the protections that have been granted to black people, queer people, disabled people to stop foreign policy related to immigration, Donovan said. There are always racialized and eugenic sub-themes in these groups. That's what war is. At its base, it's about who should live. While some anarchists have embraced boogaloo rhetoric, these are primarily right-wing anarchists who believe in unfettered capitalism, not left-wing anarchists, said Mark Pitkavage, a researcher at the Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So you had, David Doel just, kind of droning, just droning on and on. But David Doel, once again, not only did Jimmy Dore not instigate or participate or do anything with the January 6th D.C. riots, America's coup, he didn't have jack shit to do with it. He had a forced vote that happened on January 3rd. and everybody was crying, oh my God, still crying about it right now. January 6th, D.C. riots, Jimmy Dore didn't instigate it, wasn't there, had nothing to do with it. What the fuck are you guys talking about? What the fuck is the matter with you motherfuckers? Jesus Christ. You know who I think, maybe it wasn't Donald that instigated those riots. Maybe it was the fluoride in the water. Maybe it was Alabama. Who are the damn representatives in Alabama? Jerry Carl, Barry Moore, Mike Rogers, Robert Holt, and Mo Brooks, and Gary Palmer. One Democrat, Terry Sewell. Was it Sewell? But Gary Palmer, Mo Brooks, Robert Holt, Mike Rogers, Barry Moore, Jerry L. Carl had more to do with the D.C. Capitol riots than motherfucking jagoff comedian in Pasadena, California. Pasadena is where they beat the living shit out of Bobby Fischer. Yeah, Bobby Fischer was walking, cops beat the fuck out of him and, tortured him and just really fucked him up for like a day or two. Good old Pasadena cops. Man, the California cops are shit. Are all of America's cops dog shit? Just fascist fucks? So, yeah, let's talk about the fascist cops. Let's talk about the fascist Republicans, representatives out of Alabama. Let's talk about the fluoride in the water. The fluoride in the water had more to do with the D.C. riots than Jimmy Dore. Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up about Jimmy Dore. Shut the fuck up about Jimmy Dore. All right.
League's Center on Extremism. On the ground, experts said there's really no way to figure out in real time if an unknown man in a Hawaiian shirt is a neo-Nazi looking to start a race war or an anti-police libertarian who sincerely believes that he is not a racist. Asking Boogaloo Boys about their beliefs directly is unlikely to clarify much, since neo-Nazis and white nationalists routinely lie and claim not to be racist. This should be obvious, but if
clearly, right-wingers, why would you just assume that, Magnus is a liar? This is obvious. Right-wingers are liars.
Apparently, this flew over the head of some.
Maybe they are.
You cannot trust a group like this. The idea of working hand-in-hand with a far-right, racist group, even if there are members that actually believe they are not racist.
I don't think he was talking about working with them. He just interviewed them. He just talked to the guy. He just talked to the guy. They're acting like that fucking Jimmy Dore's, king of the boogaloos.
Now, all of this really shouldn't have to be said honestly. This should be obvious. If you just do a little research, a little reading, you would understand all of this. But unfortunately, some people that do this work...
Some people, Jimmy Dore...
do the research on the fly. And don't bother to actually research the guests they're going to have on. And
it sounds just like Sarah Palin's. He's not really that sophisticated. David Doel, you're on the side of Sarah Palin?
Platform. And it's really disappointing. And just to get back to the initial story here, this is what ultimately, leads to this sort of action. Is you have these far-right...
He's got Capitol Rider charged with threatening to assassinate Representative Ocasio-Cortez. Headline, CNN Politics, and, his background. So that's what, when he's saying that, that's what he's talking about. Jimmy Dore interviewed that Boogaloo boy, and now look. They tried to kill AOC. The chronologies are wrong. The fucking logic's all wrong. It's ad hominem, slippery slopes. The ad hominem is a logical fallacy, like ad hominems are. David Doel, Mr. Slippery Slope, white trash, Mr. David. I guess, this feels like when Wayne Brady did his bit on Dave Chappelle. I don't like this look out of you, David Doel, but the fact that you could be a white trash garbage person like the rest of us, I don't know. You're a pathetic piece of white trash shit, and I guess it kind of makes me feel better than myself. It makes me feel better about myself. So, yeah, it wasn't Jimmy Dore. It was, the Alabama delegation, all those damn Republicans out of Alabama, or maybe Lauren Boebert, or all them liars, or, probably Donald Trump. That was the main motherfucker. That was the main guy. Donald Trump was the one that instigated, led it, told them all to do it, give them a wink and a nod. They knew what was going on. They felt it in their hearts. The president has called for us. And the fact that he lied for 2 goddamn months and then half the fucking, the nation didn't even know, they didn't even realize that he was a lying, low-life piece of shit, that doesn't bode well for our public education system, our terrible, totalitarian, anti-democratic public education system. That does not, why are there so many dumb, ignorant motherfuckers out here? Some dumb, ignorant motherfuckers. That's all a demagogue needs is a bunch of dumb, ignorant motherfuckers, and then they'll get themselves a following. Yeah, America's public education system, they made us dumb as fuck. We don't know how to get along with each other. We suck at democracy. So, you know, it's once it's got too much, it's like a powder keg, right? But what JFK said, if you make peaceful revolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. So the way you avoid violent revolution is you allow peaceful, you know, demonstrations, peaceful revolutions, elections, and campaigns and debates and forums and YouTube videos and whatnot. Okay, David Doel, you get the final word. You go ahead and make your point.
Right groups that feel emboldened that can relate to others who have similar views that they do, and you end up having these
Shut the fuck up! No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
On lawmakers' lives, and really not just lawmakers, but threats in general to anybody who is in their way, as ultimately their goal is to dismantle governments, not give health care to people, but to dismantle government in the name of white supremacy.
There you go. There you go. That's Mr. Doel blaming Jimmy Dore for AOC possibly. He is being too flippant about that case. AOC about got assassinated, that would be fucking terrible. My God. Who the fuck is that? That'll be my next story. I'll talk about that one coming up. Fucking Doel. Doel. I'm not impressed. That don't impress me much.